Everyone has their own opinion on Wolf, whether it's people who don't know what Project M is or don't know the meta and they just see the top tier of the tier list and just assume that he's busted. Or there's even a small amount of people who think that he's overrated and one day he'll be figured out. But let's get to the thesis of the video. Why is Wolf the best Spacie in Project Plus? Many people who haven't played Project M before just assume that if he's top tier then he must be the best in the game. And that's usually coming from people who may not be the most active in the scene. Wolf is seen a lot, whether it's by top players like Switch, who solo main the character. The character has even made it to plenty of top 8s in both Project M and Project Plus. Many people who just look at the tier list, they assume, oh, Wolf is a top tier, he must be broken, right? Well, not necessarily. The cast in Project Plus is incredibly close tier-wise, meaning even the low tiers in the cast can contend with the high tiers. Just because a character is the best character doesn't mean that they're broken like Meta Knight or Bayonetta in Brawl and Smash 4 respectively. In comparison to the other space animals in the cast, Wolf can be seen as clearly the best. And there's probably many reasons for this. However, this isn't me necessarily saying Fox and Falco are trash characters. I'm not telling you not to play them. However, it's me stating that their placements in the meta is way different than their dominant placements in the Super Smash Bros. Melee meta as being both top level characters in that game. To start, Wolf is just used way more in tournaments compared to Fox and Falco. And this could be for many reasons. For example, Wolf's recovery is typically the best out of the three of them. He has a side B that's also great and his up B that reach extremely far, which really helps Wolf's fast fall speed because if he had a worse recovery, it would be much more easier to take stocks from Wolf because of how fast he falls off stage. In previous updates, Wolf had a bayonet hitbox on his gun. Some people thought that was busted, so it was removed in Project Plus, along with earning another nerf to his recovery very slightly. But even outside of these nerfs, Wolf is still a great character, and he could be argued to be one of the best in the game. His side B has the capabilities that Fox and Falco don't have. If he hits somebody with the end of the hitbox, it's actually a KO move, which is one of Wolf's most hype moves in his moveset. One of the biggest things that Wolf has over Fox and Falco is he can waveland out of shooting lasers, retreat with a waveland, or retreat forward with a waveland. It's pretty interesting. It can add some pretty crazy mix-ups out of his neutral B, so again, it's something Fox and Falco just can't do. As the meta develops over time, there's going to be Wolf laser counterplay, where you can actually contend Wolf's lasers with other projectiles that can actually beat it. This in general offsets how crazy offensive the move is. Power shielding or finding ways to just contend with Wolf's laser will spark a debate on if Wolf truly does have the best laser long term. For now, it's definitely very good offensively. It's probably the safest to say that it's the best laser out of the three as of right now in this current meta. His shine is really good because of how big the move is, and also his throws are incredible due to how well they link into his aerials and his overall combo flows. However, there are some weaknesses to the character. This goes to everyone who thinks that picking up Wolf is just going to make you a god at the game, which it's not. So if you remember how I said Wolf has the best Spacie recovery, it's still kinda trash, as in it's still a Spacie recovery. So even though it's good for Wolf, he lives a long time because of his weight, he's still a incredibly easy character to combo against. In fact, it's because of how heavy and the fact he's a fast faller as well, he gets comboed the easiest compared to any character in the cast. It's kind of crazy. Either way, Wolf is still an amazing character despite these faults. He's a very aggressive character in the cast, and if you're into that, then I would definitely recommend Wolf. Fox is a very solid character in the meta, and is probably the second most used Spacie, and arguably the second best as well. A lot of people pick up the character because he's essentially a slightly nerfed version of Melee Fox. He does have more end lag on his recovery options, and his shine is slightly nerfed, but however, you can still put in some work with the character. A common issue for Fox and Falco in Project M is simply playing the game thinking it's Melee when it's not Melee, really. This game has tons of more matchups that Fox will have to learn in order to get good in this game, which might turn some people off from using this character because now they're going to have to learn a bunch of floaty matchups and so on and so forth, and other characters, DDD, blah blah blah, but he still has some positives. Fox in Project M actually has a good matchup spread against Wolf because he's actually fast enough to deal with his approaches and his pressure. Fox also has a huge amount of KO power, and he's essentially really good at dealing with floaty characters in the cast that are slower than him. And because this version of Fox is very similar to the Melee version of the character, character, people who feel at home with Fox in those games will probably enjoy him and how he plays in Project M. Unless they hate the nerfs that he received, which I get. Fox doesn't have the same combo flows that Wolf's has. Fox's laser is good, and Fox can't waveland out of his neutral B like Wolf can, which is one of the main differences between their lasers, I would say. But again, Fox is still very solid. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying Fox shouldn't be played, because he definitely has a placement in the meta. Now for Falco. Falco is the least played Spacie, definitely the worst out of the three. Similar to Fox, Falco did receive some nerfs to his laser, his shine, and his down air. He did receive a flame hitbox on his recovery, so he is similar to Fox in that way. However, Falco's recovery is still pretty trash. Falco's recovery is not only a bad recovery for a space animal because his up B doesn't go very high at all. I know it's meant to offset his high double jump, but it doesn't really help him at all when he's being gimped off stage, and he's going to be reliant on a recovery that really isn't good. In Project M, it's a game where it's known for characters having good recoveries. The game used to be called Project Recovery back in the day. Now for Falco, he clearly doesn't live up to that. While his side B is decent, this really doesn't help how poor his vertical recovery offstage truly is. While having brawl tech like B reversing and wave bouncing is a nice addition to his movesets and his neutral, however, he has a slightly nerfed laser, so people who are used to the old laser will have to kind of deal with that. He is still a very glassy glass cannon. The best part of him is probably his neutral. It's still pretty solid. It's really offstage that is the major problem with Falco, because he clearly doesn't prefer the air. And this becomes a major argument of this video, is really what is the point of playing Falco when Wolf does very similar things to Falco, if not better? And you guys can comment below if you have any input on that. A very common thing spoken about in the P+ community is that Wolf is just outshining Falco, which it's very clear, pun intended, that that's happening, because what the characters are trying to do are very similar to each other. A lot of the problems that Falco has as a character are problems that really Fox and Wolf don't really have to the same extent. But again, like I said in the beginning of the video, Falco is not a bad character. I'm not saying you shouldn't play him. People actually beat people in tournaments with Falco. I'm sure he's capable of going to top 8s. Because the cast in Project Plus is so close tier-wise, it adds the real question, does Wolf outshine Falco? Which is a common question brought up in the community. So that's the video, you guys. I hope you guys enjoy. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you're interested. There's a Patreon down below where you can get videos early and get to be part of the Discord. Thank you guys. Peace out. I was sick the entire time I recorded this video, so peace out.